healthcare organizations experience months where production appears healthy, but cash collections don't keep pace. Charges may be right where you expect them to be, or maybe they're even improving, but cash either remains flat or it could even decline. So let's talk about three reasons why that happens. First, there's always a timing difference between when services are provided and when cash is received. A patient may be seen today, but it could take several days before the claim is submitted, and even longer if it takes longer for the physician or the provider to document the services, and then if services are coded by medical coders rather than relying on the physician's coding. And so it has to go through that process first. And then once the claim is coded and then submitted, the insurance company has to review and process the claim. Depending on the payer and the complexity of the claim, this process could take weeks, optimistically, but much more likely it will take several months, sometimes even many months before you fully receive all of the reimbursement due on a particular claim. And second, not every claim moves through the revenue cycle as expected. They may be delayed. We've already mentioned missing documentation, or you're waiting for the documentation to be received or coding queries to be responded to. There could be issues with coding or problems with eligibility, or you may find that authorizations weren't obtained, or there could be clearinghouse edits or payer denials. Claims may require additional follow-up, corrections, or appeals before you ever receive the first payment. And even when production remains steady, any disruptions in the revenue cycle can slow down the cash collections significantly. Third, the amount charged is rarely the amount that's ultimately collected. And I know most of you know this, but our charges are like a sticker price, quote unquote. They're not generally what we expect to ultimately collect on the claim. And so as a result, there is a difference between the amount charged and the amount that can realistically be collected. Our organizations have contractual agreements with our insurance companies that establish the allowable reimbursement for our services. And in addition, some of those balances, after the insurance companies have paid their portion, are going to become patient responsibility if you didn't collect that up front. Some claims are going to be denied, and in some cases, those denials are not going to be recoverable. And so some of those amounts are eventually going to be written off. So while we would love it if our charges and cash would be equal in some ideal universe out there, the key takeaway is this: production and cash are both important indicators, but they are very different things, and they are telling you very different things. Production is going to tell you what services were provided and the volume of services. Cash is going to tell you how effectively the revenue cycle is converting those services into reimbursement. Over time, experienced revenue cycle leaders develop a pretty good sense of what cash collections should look like based on data and analytics of their payer mix, their reimbursement rates, and historical performance. And many organizations also monitor payments by the different payers and compare the actual results to expected results based on the historical trends. And so when cash starts to fall outside of those expectations, it's often a sign that something within the revenue cycle needs a closer look. And that's when you put on your detective hat. So understanding the relationship between production, claims, and cash is essential for anyone involved in healthcare operations, practice management, or revenue cycle leadership. If you found this video helpful, be sure to subscribe for more content on revenue cycle management, healthcare reimbursement, patient access, billing, denials, analytics, and leadership. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.